Welcome to KQEG and Seven Rivers Sports. I'm your host, Terry Erickson. As you know, each week an inside look into sports, into wellness, and into fitness. Well, this week it's a special show. Why? Well, because we're going to take a look at the career of Bri Ebenhoe. 7 years of coaching and teaching at Aquinas, developing a culture of success, an excellent teacher. If you didn't know, she announced her resignation because of a great opportunity as head coach at Waldorf University, taking over their volleyball program beginning next year in Forest City, Iowa. I've been there because I refereed basketball in Forest City, Iowa. Second time on the show. Yep. Welcome to the show, Bri.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we wanted to really look at your career, and so this is special for me because of what you've done. Before we talk about that, though, let's go down the yellow brick road. Let's go down memory lane. Let's talk about who is Bri Ebenhoe. What brought her to the head coaching job, teaching at Aquinas, and back to your years growing up.
Well, I attended Aquinas High School, and I had such an amazing academic and athletic experience there that when I went to Marquette University, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. And then those 4 years flew by, but every spring break, it seemed, I was back at Aquinas working with Coach Kevin Schreiner and the softball program. It just became something that I did over spring break. I was working with young athletes and I enjoyed it. I never thought about coaching, but that's where I was every year. So it just became something that found me.
So it was sort of a calling, but when you were younger and you competed, and did you, like a lot of young, like my own granddaughters, what are you going to be when you grow up? Well, I'm going to be a nurse, you know. I may be a teacher, but did you think about that when you were young?
Not at all. I really didn't. I thought I was going to be a lawyer for the longest time. And then I loved school, I loved interacting, and I loved helping people. So teaching was my calling.
So you really found that passion when you were in college?
I did.
But let's go back to some Aquinas days and maybe people that have influenced you, because all of us have special people that have made a great impact in our life. Parents, of course, and there are others.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Schreiner he was such an amazing coach for me. He showed patience, he knew the game, and he could communicate with student athletes at a really high level. You always felt like there was something you could improve on. You always felt that there was room for you to improve. You never felt like you were done. And he did this all in such a respectful, positive way that you wanted to play for him and you wanted to give him your best. And that really kind of formed me into the best softball player I could be. And that kind of formed my coaching philosophy later in life.
I watched you play softball, and I know you were an excellent softball player. Well, Kevin Schreiner, a friend of mine, and still the softball coach and now the athletic director and a good friend. Here's what he said about you. Bri has been a fantastic ambassador for Aquinas High School and the volleyball program. From her time as a student to being hired as a teacher and a coach, she represented Aquinas High School with class and dignity. Her accomplishments as a coach are well documented, but her work as a teacher and as a female role model, those are special in addition to her coaching resume. React to that.
Wow. It means a lot when, Coach Schreiner has been such a role model for me to hear, him say those words about me. But, I love Aquinas. I view it as the place that afforded me every single opportunity I've had in my life. And so when I became a teacher, I wanted to give back. I wanted to be in that Aquinas community. I wanted to be inspiring other students to achieve what they could. And eventually I wanted to inspire the student athletes to be the best that they could be as well.
All schools have strengths, and we're going to get into this with a thing I'm going to frame around culture. But before we do that, what's special? What's the sort of the driving force that brought you back to Aquinas? What's special about it?
It's a family. They want everyone to succeed in whatever they choose to do, but they also want them to have high character. They want them to behave to certain standards, and they hold you to high expectations of how you act, how you help others. I learned a lot about compassion, about helping other people, and that in order to live the best and fullest life, it's in service of others. That's what Aquinas gave me.
Well, and one of the sort of the significant people that have carried on that culture and even strengthened that culture is another friend of mine. And his name happens to be Ted Knutson. I'm sure everybody watching the show knows him.
Yeah.
Athletic director, principal, and now president of Aquinas Catholic Schools. Here's what he said about you. Coach has been a true role model for students and athletes. She'll be hard to replace on the court and in the classroom. We really appreciate her leadership. The Blue Gold Nation, in its entirety, will miss her. Thoughts?
I mean, Mr. Knutson has been so instrumental in, leading Aquinas as a teacher, as a coach, as our principal, and now as our president. He is really seeing the potential and the future possibilities of Aquinas. And, while I was there, his leadership was so excellent that it was easy for me to, build a classroom, build an athletic culture that demanded excellence because he led with excellence. Mm-hmm. And now, as the president of our school system, he's just really making sure that every student who goes to Aquinas has the best opportunities.
Well, and as it is in the public schools, you're a teacher first and you're a coach second.
Yes.
And if you're a good teacher, you're a good coach, and certainly vice versa. But because whether you're on the field or the court, you are teaching the game if you are a good coach. There are some that just coach, but the strong leaders teach the game, and so they're really a teacher.
I agree.
In a coaching uniform.
Yes.
But before we went on the air, I asked you about finishing out the year, and in case you just joined us, Bri Ebenhoe just resigned from Aquinas because she was offered a head coaching job and accepted at Waldorf University in Forest City, Iowa. But I asked you, well, are you going to continue teaching until the end of the school year, which is in May? And your answer was yes. And but you are going to be traveling back and forth. And mm-hmm. Tell us about that.
Well, right now, college volleyball programs have a spring season as well. So they're working in spring practices and getting spring games together with the returning members of the team. So it's a little difficult to not be there and to, I have such excellent graduate assistants there working with the team and, communicating and helping with recruiting. So that really makes the transition easier. But right now I'm finishing out at Aquinas. I'm teaching my classes, getting them ready for their tests, their exams, and for what life offers next.
Well, a new chapter in your life, and let's kind of look at Waldorf for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And a couple of things. One, what attracted you to that position, and what would our viewers like to know about Waldorf and about their volleyball program?
Well, what attracted me to Waldorf is that so many of the people who work there are Waldorf alumni. And that says a lot about a culture when people want to come back and they want to give. It's what I did at Aquinas. So when I went and visited Waldorf, I was so happy to see that it is a family culture. It is a place where they want everyone to succeed in whatever they do. It's a bit more specialized at the college level than the high school, but the fact that everyone there is pulling and pushing for success for every single student, for every single faculty member, for every team, for every coach, made it a very comfortable place for me to be, and that was something that really attracted me.
So before we go to break, you're assuming your job this summer, and of course the season's in the fall. Are you comfortable and obviously knowledgeable about who's coming back and what kind of a team you expect?
Yes, I'm in weekly contact with the team. I've been texting with them, emailing with them, met them face-to-face several times, and I'll continue to do that. And they're a really dedicated, hard-working group of young women. They're in the weight room probably as we speak, and their desire to be the best that they could possibly be and to showcase what they can do as a unit on the court is something that I like to see, something that I want to see in a team.
Good. Well, we're going to step aside for a minute. When we come back, we'll talk more about your new position at Waldorf University, and we're also going to go back again and talk about the culture you developed with the Aquinas Blue Goals. So we'll be right back after these messages.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
Well, I was very nearsighted. I couldn't see 3 feet in front of me without things being blurry, so I had to wear glasses.
We screen patients. We try to make sure that they're appropriate candidates for LASIK, that their prescription is within the range, that it's reasonable to do it, that they have a good understanding of what they can expect, that they have a good understanding of what the benefits are and what the risks are.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, your comfort is our business.
Welcome back to Seven Rivers Sports. Again, today we're looking back at the career of Bri Ebenhoe, who resigned because she's going to Waldorf University as a head volleyball coach. What a tremendous thing. As we tape the show, the Blue Goals getting ready to depart for the basketball state tournament.
Yes.
And as we tape the show, that's where the focus is with Aquinas, because as you said, when we went to break, school will be dismissed early tomorrow. On Thursday, they play, of course, tomorrow night or Thursday night, and no school on Friday. But talk about excitement around Blue Gold Nation.
We're just really excited that we have, we see the rewards of hard work. Some of these young women have been, playing their sports, basketball, volleyball, soccer for years, and they've been in the weight room and building a team culture, and to see it all kind of come together and culminate in trips to state is pretty special.
Yeah, it is. Well, let's transition quickly back to Waldorf, and now talk about the history of that program and what you want to accomplish.
Right now, Waldorf is in the North Star Athletic Conference, or Athletic Association, which is the same conference that Viterbo is in. And Viterbo volleyball has been dominating and, highly ranked in the NAIA. So we're in an excellent conference with excellent competition, and Waldorf has been right around in the middle of that. They've been slowly improving. So we have talent, we have dedication, we have the skill sets that are right there. We're looking to build something and play a little faster, a little smarter, and really see if we can push and start challenging the Viterbos of the world.
Good. And I'm sure you will, and I'm sure our viewers would agree from what you did at Aquinas. Speaking of Aquinas, boy, we're jumping back and forth. 151 wins and 74 losses in your career. NBC champs twice, 2014 and 2016, 5 regional championships, 1 sectional championship, and then last year, because we had you and 2 of your players on the show, last fall, the first ever trip to state with you and your Lady Blue Goals.
Yes.
So certainly that was one of your defining moments. Reflect on that.
It was a dream come true. It was a goal that had been worked for years. It wasn't just this one team. This group of 6 seniors were actually on the team as sophomores when we were 1 game away from state. And the team, the group that was seniors that year had been on the team since they were sophomores, and it was a culture. It was a legacy. It was something that has been building and building and building, and to kind of finally break through that ceiling and break through to Green Bay was indescribable.
Well, I'm sure your players felt the same way, but you built, before we talk about the culture you built, you certainly had some real loyal, faithful, and hardworking athletes that contributed in terms of their effort to your success.
Yes.
And you were like a family. You were very close to them.
Very much.
And I talked to a few of them in advance of today's show, and Danielle Dolan, who was on the show, said this to me: Coach Bri helped me develop my love of the game of volleyball, made me a better player and a person. She has been part of the academic and athletic career of many people, including yourself, and I wish her nothing but success in this amazing opportunity. Danielle Dolan. Pretty powerful statement.
Very much, and all of my players in my program, they have been so supportive of me in this opportunity, and I would not have the opportunities if they hadn't kind of bought into the system that I was proposing to them and really took it to levels that I wasn't sure it could go. So Danielle is just one of the best setters to come through the program, and her hard work and dedication speaks volumes on its own.
And Megan.
Yes.
Megan, who was on the show. Mm-hmm. Megan
Mazzola
was on the show, and she said she said this about you, Megan Mazzola. Very passionate coach, and she has a true love of the game. She puts in countless hours, always does her best to prepare herself and the team. She puts her whole heart into the program. We'll miss her having as a coach, but wish her the best as she starts a new chapter in her life. And I grabbed this quote that I really like, and I'll sort of tag this on to what Megan said. You can't teach passion, but you can live it, you can share it, you can show others what life filled with passion looks like. You agree with that?
I do, very much. When I took the coaching position, I knew that I liked volleyball. But then I started learning more about it, and I grew to love it and love the coaching aspects more than I ever did playing it or, being involved in it. So it just caught my imagination. It caught my love, and the work and the countless hours that she's talking about, it doesn't seem difficult. It's fun. It's enjoyable, and I wouldn't do it or have the opportunities if it wasn't.
One more quote, and apologize for not bringing a box of Kleenex. I'm not trying to make you cry, but Morgan Murfeld, I know her family real well. She says, Coach Bri has made a positive impact on my life since she was a teacher in 7th grade. As a coach, she continues her source of positivity and encouragement. Positivity and encouragement. Does that describe you?
Yes. I'm getting my master's degree in positive coaching. I think that the best way to get the most out of a student athlete is by encouraging them, is by communicating and being honest and building them up. And that's everything that I do on the court, in my preparations, and every interaction with the team. And
you do that with your students in class,
yes,
too. A culture of positivity. Well, I really like this particular saying, and it kind of captures, I think, what I think is all about coaching and teaching, and it's sort of the 3 Ds of athletics. And one thing, and what good coaches do in terms of building that culture. One is to encourage student athletes to discover their potential, their pursuits, and their interests. How do you do that?
You ask them to do things that they're not sure that they can do. We've implemented some high-level skills that before, in the last 5 years, you may have only seen these skills at a collegiate or a professional level. And we encourage the student athletes to test these things, see if you can do these things, and when you figure out you can, well, now you master them. And then once you master them, you start, implementing these things in a match on your own terms, and really just helping a student athlete or a student in the classroom push their horizons, push whatever they think they can do into what they hope they might do, or envy in somebody else. We make that possible.
Second D. First one was discover. Second D is develop students to become well-rounded young adults and adults into the future. Well-rounded. Aquinas does that. How do you do that?
We talk about everything. It's not just volleyball in our gym. It's how are things going in your classes, what's going on in your life, how are you serving others, what groups are you involved in, and we learn from each other. It's not ever just one subject, one topic. We bring in multiple influences, multiple points of discussion. We talk a lot in my classes and discuss and try to get different perspectives and ask questions in order to become the most well-rounded people that we can be.
And the third D, ready?
I'm ready.
We didn't rehearse this, by the way. The third D was dedicate your team and convince them to dedicate themselves into achieving their potential and take them to a level they didn't think was even possible. Because so many athletes never get to that level. They just dwell in mediocrity, maybe because coaches didn't influence them, encourage them, stimulate them to get to another level. See that all the time, don't we?
Yes, we do. But our sport is a team sport. One person cannot elevate the team to the next level. They can inspire and they can, lead, but one person cannot do it. And we had 15 people on our roster this year, and 1 through 15, they were all vital to our success. From the person who was just in practice to dig up shots and make it a little bit harder on our starters. It's a team concept. It's a team game. And if you get student athletes to buy in, to figure that the team is greater than the individual, then there's no limit to that potential.
And sort of blending in something that coaches struggle with all the time, and that's how to develop mental toughness. Mm-hmm. Many athletes have the physical skills. Are they strong mentally? That's been a challenge with a lot of coaches because athletes self-destruct.
They can, but it's a skill. Mental toughness is a skill, just like passing is a skill, just like serving is a skill. So we need to practice it. We put them in scenarios in practice of drills that seem impossible, drills that seem like they can't be done. And sometimes they can't, but the drill isn't about the skill. It's about persevering. It's about resilience. It's about discipline. It's about responsibility and communication with your teammates. And once we work on all of those things, mental toughness follows.
A leap of faith about to occur. Well, you're already signed on as a new head coach at Waldorf University, but it was a leap of faith that a lot of people are not willing to do because you're in a level of comfort, you've achieved success, you're where you always wanted to be, and all of a sudden you're going somewhere else where there's still a degree of uncertainty, isn't there?
There is, but it's a chance for me to test my new skills. It's a chance for me to show my students and my student athletes that you don't just get that job, you don't just get that one thing, and everything stops. There's still more to be done, more challenges to be had, more adventures, and then, at the end of it, when you can look back on, the lives that you've touched and, the people who've touched you, that's really kind of what the whole journey is about for me so far.
You'll miss teaching, though, too, because I assume your head coaching position will not have a teaching component?
It will.
It will?
Yes.
So you'll be teaching also?
Yep, science and coaching and wellness courses.
Well, good. Well, then you're using your skills as a teacher, and that's a plus, too, isn't it?
Yes, I'm very glad that I was given that opportunity as well.
Well, good. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We wish you the best of luck, and we will keep track of your success, and we want all of our viewers to get to that game against this place called Viterbo, this team, Viterbo University versus Waldorf. Wow, will that ever be special?
It will be. We're really looking forward to it already.
Well, good. So thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, again, our guest, Bri Ebenhoe, the new head coach at Waldorf University, left quite a legacy at Aquinas, and we'll be back with some closing thoughts right after this.
LASIK surgery at Mayo Clinic Health System.
I can see. I don't have to wear my glasses for driving, to go to the movies, for reading.
And I think it's a wonderful thing to offer people that freedom and independence of lenses, whether they're contact lenses or glasses, to be able to function every day from the morning to the evening and not think about it.
For more information on LASIK surgery, contact Mayo Clinic Health System.
At Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning, we have assembled a championship team
who listens to what your needs are.
We install carrier comfort systems that improve the comfort, efficiency, and the air quality of your home and workplace.
We serve you with highly trained technicians who are prompt, friendly, and honest.
For Gold Star treatment, turn to the experts, Carrier and Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning.
Schneider Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is our business.
Welcome back. Well, great interview with Coach Bri Ebenhoe. A big loss for Aquinas High School as she moves to a new chapter in her life as head volleyball coach at Waldorf University in Forest City, Iowa. We hope you enjoyed our coverage of both boys and girls basketball games this season. We brought you over 70 games throughout the season, and we tried to cover as many teams as possible. Well, our plans are to do even more next season, so stay with us. We still have basketball on our mind as the Badgers have made it to the Sweet 16 again this year. We will all be watching as Wisconsin attempts to reach the Final Four in Phoenix, Arizona at the end of the month. Bronson Koenig, certainly the pride and joy of the Cooley region. Let's not forget Matt Thomas, who recently finished his 4-year career at Iowa State. It's been a treat to watch him play for the last 4 years. Well, next week, more basketball as Kobe King, Bailey Cale, and others from the Central Red Raiders discuss their career and their trip to Madison for the state championship. You will not want to miss that show. For now, I'm your host, Terry Erickson, thanking you for joining us, hoping that you will have an active and a healthy week ahead. So long from all of us here at 7 Rivers Sports.